Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Tara with Mayhem Crafty Cards, and I know it has been a hot minute since I have been able to create. I am getting ready to post a video of the new shed that we had, excuse me, purchased, and we finally got my half of the shed done so I can sit out here and craft. But today, what I want to talk to you guys about is I am going to be making a light up card for Christmas, and I'm going to be using this as Christmas cards for a select number of people, just because I don't have that many lights to go along with this. So it is going to be a light up card, and what I've done is I've got my Trinity Stamps sketchbook in front of me, and please don't judge my little sketches. I am no artist by any means, but I wrote down what I was going to be using, where I wanted to put my lights, and kind of how I wanted it set up. So, I will add my color palette later. So I use the Concord 9th pop-up shop. So it's just these ones down here. I know it looks super complicated, but it is really the easiest thing to put together. So, like I said, I used just from here to here, and then these lights right here. And then I also used let me make sure I can see this. So this is the little Christmas tree from Honeybee Stamps. Now with these sets, if you have small enough images, you don't have to use everything that comes in here. You can mix and match your own, and I will show you guys, as you can see, that I did add some elements that weren't with this set. They're actually from different companies. So go through your stash and find your little images, and you can pretty much create any shape card that you want with this set. So I used the Honeybee tree, and I'll have to look up the name. I will link everything down in my description box. I am not affiliated with anybody. I make no money off of this whatsoever. I just like linking the products that I used. So I also used the Simon Hurley Stellar ink in 4. This is a pretty deep dark green. Probably can't see it, but that's fine. You'll see it on my Christmas tree. I also use these little containers. So all these containers, this one especially, holds all my little cut pieces. And when I do cut them out, I tend to cut multiples, just because I want to be able to, if I don't want to have to keep cutting if I run out of something. So I do use those. I also went ahead and put a lot of my stuff together already, just because it is very time consuming if you're doing a bunch of little pieces. So I had already cut out the front of my little shop, and this is one I made. Now this one doesn't have lights. I did use this one as like my practice one for lights. So this is what the card's going to look like, except for there will be lights in the background of this one. So, I mean, this was pretty simple and easy to do. You just put it on the card front. You have a little space in between, which is perfect for the lights if you don't want to use foam tape. Now, if you're making a regular light up card, you will need foam tape. And I thankfully have hoarded Amanda from Pear Blossom Press's foam tape, because I know they're out of stock right now. But if you go to her website and click on the notify me, you'll get a notification when it does come back in stock. So like I said, I've already cut out my base. I cut out some of these pieces and put them together already, just to save a little bit of time. So in this little wreath right here is from the, let me check my notes real quick, Lawn Fawn, the Knock Knock Who's There. It is their circle picture frame, or picture. But I took the little solid piece and cut it out of the middle to make my own little wreath. So, like I said, go through your stash and find things that will work with these sets. And now I've also cut out the little frame pieces for these windows. I did use double-sided adhesive when I cut them. It just makes it much easier to attach to the vellum. And the vellum that I'm using is also from Pear Blossom Press. I really love this gold. And the gold was actually a last minute thing. I did not think I was going to use it, but it's going to go behind my windows here. So that way it'll get a nice reflective look from your lights. Now I'm also going to be using acetate, which again is also from Pear Blossom Press. Like I said, anything that I have, I've purchased on my own. I have spent a lot of money, but I also like going through my stash to find what I could use with these sets before I order them. So the lights I'm going to be using today are the Twinkle Lights, and these are so easy to put together. Oh, I didn't put the battery in. 1 second. Let me put the battery in here. So here's the one light. It's just one simple light, and it lights up, okay? You'll see the plus sign to put the battery in. And the reason why I didn't have the battery in this one is because I was trying to see which lights I wanted to use yesterday. So here are the Twinkle Lights. So they will twinkle in the background. So everything is already here, all compact. You get your battery, you have your 3 lights. And like I said, if you're not doing a card like this, you will need to use, I believe it's 3mm foam tape. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure, though, that's what it is. So Amanda does have some other lights as well. And one, so she has the halo light. I'm just going to show you these guys real quick. So there's the halo light. It's one light, and it lights up a circle. So these would be good for like snow globes, stuff like that. And then she had, okay, so here's another Twinkle Lights. As you can see, I really like the Twinkle Lights because I have more than one. The other ones I really like too, yeah, look, here's another Twinkle Light, are the candle light. So you can actually blow this out. So I will show you this super quick before I get into assembling my card. So you just press the button. It lights up, and you just blow on it and it goes out. Super cute. These would be really good for birthday cards, anything that you got a candle for. So, like I said, I went in between the Twinkle Lights and the one light, and I am going to be using the Twinkle Lights on this card. So I'm going to go ahead and start assembling this, and I'll show you how to add the lights. It's really simple to put together. And now I have already on the back put all my score tape, so that way all I have to do is just lay everything out. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting this together. I really enjoy using the lights. I just sometimes can't think of what to use my lights for, even though it's like the simplest thing. So when I started putting this together last night, this card is for my mother-in-law. So I wanted to, I went back and forth the lights, but I decided I wanted to make one for you guys with the lights so you can see how simple and easy it is. So before I start adding my acetate and my vellum, I'm going to start decorating the front of my card. I feel like this just makes it a lot easier. Especially some of these bigger pieces, like this one right here. And these, like I said, these lights came with, or this little thing came, oh my gosh, this die came with that set. So, and this is really easy to line up. I mean, you can see that there's marks on the car, or on the base where you line everything up at. So I'm going to grab my little Misty glue press. Can't remember what it's called for the life of me. I'll make sure I link all this stuff though. Like I said, I get no commission. This is just me using my stuff that I purchased with my own money. So I really enjoyed putting this card together. So I'm going to line this up. And it goes from side to side. So you'll know when you have it in the right spot. Now I do have a little bit of overhang, which is fine. It's not going to impede my card at all. Or impede the it folding flat, which these do fold flat, if I didn't say that before. So these little score lines here, you will put them on the card kind of like this, and it will fold flat when you go to mail it. And this is A2 size. So it makes it really, really nice to mail these out. So with this one, because I already have the gold vellum on the back, I'm just going to go around the sides, because if you've used vellum before, you know that the glue will show through the vellum. And had I thought about this last night, I would have put the gold behind the door on the other one. But now I know. So this I'm going to line up at the very edge of the score line. And then this is our little door into our little shop. Now you could add all kinds of things to the background of this. I just chose to keep it really simple because I have a lot of cards to make. So I wanted to keep this as simple as I could, but still look nice and elegant for the recipients of my card. So now what I'm going to do, since I have that done, I am going to go ahead and flip this over, and I'm going to add my acetate. Now you don't need to take the whole thing across unless you're not putting the vellum at the top of your windows. So what I like to do is I like to just go ahead and peel off my double-sided adhesive, lay my acetate down, and then cut it to where I want it, because if I try to do it before that, it always ends up off. And this is all in real time. I have not sped this up in any way. I probably should, but so I'm gonna line it up here with that front window, because this is where our Christmas tree is going to go. And I'm just going to press it down really well. And then I'm going to cut around this, and then I will be back to show you how I put the Christmas tree on. Okay, so now that the acetate is on, I'm going to figure out where I want my tree. Now, what I would normally do, and what I did with the other one, is I put this down first so that I could see where I wanted to place my tree. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this guy down and kind of center it in between the window and the frame of the card. And then I'm going to take my Christmas tree, because it's already there, and I'm going to move it underneath so I can see exactly where I want my tree to be. Because I still want to be able to see the bow, so, and still see the little ornaments, which are just the little stars that I cut out in glitter cardstock. So now that I know that's where I want it, I'm going to leave my tree there. I'm going to remove the little window box, and I'm going to glue that down. So that way I know how far up this needs to go. Now, I mean, you can use foam tape, you can use, other little things. But I just decided to use liquid adhesive. It's just faster and easier for me. So again, I put it all the way down to where that score line was. I'm going to flip over my design, and I'm going to add just a little bit of glue to the acetate. Now, I do use reverse tweezers for this because this acetate is slippery. If you've ever used acetate before for shaker cards or anything like that, you know that it takes a hot minute for it to stick. So once I got my tree lined up, I'm going to go ahead and grab my reverse tweezers and hold that in place. Because if not, it's going to shift. It only takes a second for the glue to dry, but I don't want to take any chances of it sliding around while I'm doing other things with the card. So now that we have that done, I can go ahead. Now this is a little sign. This little sign will sit right on the card, just like this, and it will fold down flat. Like all these cards fold down flat to go into an A2 size envelope. So for this part here, the transient windows, couldn't remember what they were called. I'm going to put my vellum down first. And the reason why that I went with the double-sided adhesive was because I don't want it to show through the vellum at all. Like I said, if you've used vellum before, you know that glue will show up, it'll wrinkle. It won't look very nice. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these out, the little squares out, because I'm not using the squares, I just want the frame. So here is a frame without, this doesn't have anything on it. And what I'm going to do is glue it onto the frame when I'm done. Just in case there's any, if I rip it on accident, which, you know, it's a thin piece, so you could accidentally rip it. So I'm going to poke these out, and then I will come back and show you guys how to lay the vellum and how to add the windows to the vellum. Okay, so now since my tree is nice and dry, I'm going to go ahead and remove the rest of the double-sided adhesive. And like I said, I love using this because it helps with not showing anything through the any adhesive through the vellum. They do make adhesive or vellum like tape runners, but even then you can still see through the adhesive through it. So I just like to do it this way, just because I know it's not going to, you know, show through. So I'm going to flip, before I lay this down, I'm going to flip this over and see where my vellum is going to hit, which that looks like it's going to be a good spot, because you can cut out any excess vellum that you don't need. And I'm just going to go ahead and press that down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut out what I don't want what vellum I don't want on the back of the card. So now that I have my vellum back there, as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and pop out my little transient frames for my windows. Now these have, like I said, double-sided adhesive on them, just so I didn't have to use glue or anything else to get them off. And these are kind of delicate, so you want to be careful when you're taking them off of the die. And then you're just going to butt them up in the corners and just lay them flat down in there. And they lay very nicely in those areas. So now, if you feel like you want to add a little bit more dimension to it, you could take these other frames and glue them on top of it. I'm pretty happy with how this is looking, so I'm not going to risk doing that, because my luck, I will get glue everywhere. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out where I'm going to place my lights. So on the back of this card, where you can see where it folds, you have this area. So I could very easily glue this here so that when you flip the card over, you're not seeing it, and you could put the button on the back. So you can see how it comes through. As soon as I can figure out where I'm going, it comes through the windows. And you don't see the lights. Or I could flip it. Well, I can't really flip it. I could put it on the card base. No, I guess I can flip it. I like to be able to give you access to change the battery out. The batteries do last for a long time. So if I did it the other way, then you could very easily, you know, change out your battery. So let's see. I think what I'm going to do is just keep it so the flat part of this is on the flat part of this card. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do it in the other corner, so that way I have a place for my lights. So these lights are already put together. You can see I've already got some Scotch tape on my lights because I was playing around with it yesterday. You're going to want to put double-sided adhesive on the back of this. You don't want this moving or shifting out of place. So you're going to want to put double-sided adhesive on this. I like to use pretty much anything I can grab a hold of. Usually it's the scrapbook.com double-sided adhesive, but I mean, you can use any double-sided adhesive you want. So I'm going to put 2 strips of this on the back, just to hold it securely in place. And this will just, you know, keep it from moving. Now, what I also like to do with my double-sided adhesive when I'm doing stuff like this is add a little bit of glue to it, because that way it gives me a tiny bit of wiggle room just in case I don't place it in the right area. And I do that with any time I'm using double-sided tape. just to make sure that I am getting the spots that I need to get. So you're just, I mean, it's super easy. You're putting it on the back, and I'll show you how to, what to do with the excess wire. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down, and I will be back to show you how I wrap up the lights. Okay, so I got this glued down, and I should have went up just a teeny tiny little bit, but it's not really going to impede the card. So I'm going to figure out where I want my lights, and I'm just going to grab some Scotch tape, because that seems to be the easiest, and it doesn't really show through the vellum. And I'm going to take the tiniest little piece and just tape my light down. Now, like I said, I should have put that up just a little bit further, but it's not really going to impede my card. So that now when I flip it over, there's that light. So I'm going to do the same with the other two, and I just have it coiled over because I'm not sure exactly where I want these placed just yet. And then I'm going to grab my Scotch tape again and you know, tape it down. So you don't need a whole lot of Scotch tape for this, especially with this little of a card. I'm gonna tape him down right here, but you do want to have enough to where it's secure. And then I'm going to tape this one down, and you want to make sure that your lights are pointed in the direction so you can see them. So this one's going to be placed there. I'm going to grab my reverse tweezers just to hold this in place because that's where I know I want to put that light, just so I can grab my Scotch tape off of here. So now I can remove my reverse tweezers. I know I want it there, so I'm going to put my tape right there. And like I said, you cannot see the Scotch tape through the vellum, which is nice. So I'm going to kind of bunch these down so that it's not hitting that score line there, because that's where you're going to score your card. And I'm just using the same Scotch tape, and I'm just taping them down. This doesn't need to look pretty, like, at all. You just don't want to kink any of your lines, because that will keep your lights from blinking. So since I'm not really super concerned about it because I know where it's going, I'm just going to go ahead and just tape this all down. So now, as you can see, your lights are all shiny. Now I'm going to turn the light off so that you guys can see that what it's going to look like without the overhead lights on. Okay, so it's still kind of bright in here, and you can probably see the lights of the vellum, but it's just from the reflection. So as you can see, the lights light everything up. They kind of, you know, hit off the glitter paper. So yeah, this was pretty simple and easy to do. Okay, so now I have all my vellum on the back. You can see that everything is lighting up very nicely. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to my card base, which is the Tailored Expression Toffee A2 size card bases. Now, I've already went ahead and stamped my logo on the back so that I know which side I'm placing my card on. So with these strips down here, you want to use, again, the double-sided tape, top and bottom. There is a piece that you need to make sure that you cut out, and it is just this long rectangle piece. This is going to go at the very top of your card so that you know where your, it kind of covers up the top, so where it doesn't hit. So I'm going to glue that on, and then I will show you guys how to line everything up. Now you only want to add the double-sided adhesive to the skinnier part of the score lines, because that's how it's going to fold. So it's going to fold flat. Okay, now that I have my double-sided adhesive, I'm once again going to take glue, because I don't line everything up right the first time, and once you stick this double-sided tape down, it is going nowhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold over that score line, and I'm going to put it at the very bottom of my card base. And make sure it's all lined up. And then I'm going to press down on that adhesive that I already have. So that's all underneath of my card base. So as you can see, sorry, I did this wrong. You want to press it down this way. Have that little piece sticking down towards the bottom so that when it folds, see, even I make mistakes. But thankfully, because I put that glue on there, I could readjust. So that smallest score line you were going to put at the bottom of your card, so that when you fold it folds up, you know, correctly. I'm just going to wipe this away because nobody's going to see on the inside. Not that I want it to not look nice, but... So then again, you're going to take off your backing of your score tape. Or your score tape. And whether you add glue or don't add glue, like I said, I add glue because, as you just saw, I can't always get things lined up correctly. So why this piece of the top is important is because you want to butt up against this score line or against this piece of paper with that smaller edge on the card base. So I'm going to let this dry for a minute because, like I said, I used that glue to help with the double-sided adhesive. Now the only thing I forgot to add was my little sign. And you can stamp anything that you want to on this little sign. Again, it's going to fold flat with your card. So I did, let's see, I did Joy to You and Be Merry on the sides of this one. So any little stamp set that you have, I mean, you can very easily add to here. I added mine in between the windows. So you can always do press here or, you know, wherever you put your light. I'm just going to hold that down for just a second. And as you can see, I can slide my finger inside and press the light. And that is going to be our light up card for today. So let me know if you guys make this again. Let me know if you guys recreate this, what your thoughts are. Have you used her lights before? And yeah, just let me know what you guys think. So until next time, guys, have a good day.